behind the wheel. And for those who've gotten a little carried away with this boyhood fascination, they'll head to a place like Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, awash in a sea of those sharing the same fervor. Those with mutant-sized devotion are also in Bloomsburg. Their obsession has become their racing dream. Today, they'll push things that much harder because a monstrous mob fills the stands. Ticket holders with more than money invested in trucks. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the best in MTRA monster truck racing. Today, from the Four-Wheel Jamboree Summer Nationals at the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, it's the Monster Truck Thunder Drags, round 4 of the Penda Point Series. Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania is a quiet little college town in north-central Pennsylvania, but for one weekend each summer, it's transformed into a trucker's paradise when a jamboree rolls into town. Now, after a night of cruising down Main Street and partying, the focus is now on the infield at the Bloomsburg State Fairgrounds. Hi, everybody, I'm Gary Lee, and welcome to Trucks and Tractor Power on the National Network. I'm in the cockpit of Paul Schaefer's Monster Patrol, but unfortunately, Paul was knocked out of round 1. Now, as we prepare for round 2 competition, let's check in with my colleague, Army Armstrong.
You come to Bloomsburg, you know you're going to see a lot of action, and believe me, we're not going to let you down on this one today. Going into the second round, listen to what happened just a moment ago. All the manufacturers are going to be able to come over with another vehicle in this number 2 round. Dodge takes the win, Chevrolet throws a couple of wins, and Ford throws a couple of wins. The big story here is that all the wins came out of the right lane on the track. That means the guy that has a quick qualifying time of the 2 races will get lane choice. Keep an eye on them. They're going to go to the right side. It seems to be working better. Speaking of the right side and Chevrolet, finding the right combination, Dan Patrick and Gene Patterson, both of them used to work for the Bigfoot team. They come over now with the Samson Chevrolet and qualify into the next round with the quickest run ever, a 4.9 something. So, the handwriting's on the wall. Bloomsburg is going to be the place to be for monster truck fans this year again. Back to you, Gary.
Army, with some highlights of round 1, here's a look at that first monster truck in the 4s. Dan Patrick and the Chevy Samson, sponsored by American Gladiator. Watch on the run. Patrick had a very rough landing, knocking off the rear tire, and that sent Dan and Gene Patterson scrambling to get it fixed. But the word we're getting is he'll be ready for round 2.
Yeah, that 4.9 something wound up being a 4.98, Gary.
Take a look at the current standings. Andy Brass continues to lead over Paul Schaefer, and Dan Runty is in 3rd position. Round 1 competition, Runty goes up against Paul Schaefer. As we told you earlier, Schaefer was knocked out. Here is the run to put him on the trailer, and there's the margin of victory for Dan Runty and the Power Wheels Bigfoot.
But you got to remember, in this sport, a quick loser can possibly come back, so it's to your advantage to run hard. Schaefer goes, look at this, a 5.18. He was on the throttle.
There's a look at Kirk Dabney out of Columbia City, Indiana. He drives a truck called Overkill. He defeated Mark Hall in the Hall Brothers entry. Coming right at you. I like this shot, Army. Over our crash cam.
Groundhog Camp, Pennsylvania.
Camp.
That's right, Groundhog Camp, Pennsylvania.
In qualifying, Andy Brass. Now, Andy Brass, normally the 1st or 2nd fastest in qualifying. Today, he was the 6th fastest. Had some trouble in qualifying.
The problem, as you can see, it was in the chassis. The horsepower was there. The truck just wasn't handling right. It wasn't going where he was pointing it.
We're ready now for round 2 competition. The fast qualifier Dan Runty prepares to battle Gary Porter. Now we'll show you how Porter got to round 2 as we go back now to some highlights from round 1. Gary Porter was matched up against Pam Botters. There's a look at Gary from Wadesboro, North Carolina in the Carolina Crusher. There is Pam Botters out of Hagerstown, Maryland in the far lane. And it was Gary Porter right at the very end really made up some ground.
Exactly. Pam, let me tell you something. This Botters team, along with people like the Hall brothers, they're starting to close in on these guys. Porter won the battle, but he may have lost the war because he lost lane choice. This right lane is almost mystic about how much horsepower it'll hold. And you watch, everybody gets quick qualifying time. I'm predicting it's going to go to the right side today.
Right lane belongs to Runte. Left lane, far lane. He's in trouble. Gary Porter. Oh, he hit that water barrier over there.
Yeah, the Yodoc barrier system comes in handy. They're designed right down the road from here, so if you're going to test one, I guess chance this is the place to do it.
Well, you can see the damage, despite the Hydra barrier, you can see the damage to the front of the Carolina Crusher. The front was crushed that time. Now watch again, the right side of your screen.
The problem is in the lane. Andy Brass had trouble over there. Gary is too. See, the trucks are not coming down straight. They're coming down goofy. Then they hit water barriers.
That'd really be goofy.
Yeah.
You get wet and goofy.
8 pounds per gallon. That's a couple thousand pounds he's tagging there, but the barrier did exactly what it's supposed to do. It absorbed the energy, and if it'll absorb the energy of a 10,000-pound monster truck, they got to work for highways.
Yeah, it stopped just on a dime once it hit that water barrier. There they can survey the damage to the truck, but Gary Porter is okay. So we'll take this break as they clean up the lane and come back for more of round 2 competition.